most of you, we love you so much, but you care about what your neighbor thinks or about what your girlfriend thinks, if you're smart. You care about what others think. And while we have no contention with you being harmonious and looking for ways that you can be of value to each other, you've got carried away with that. You care so much about what others think, and no two of them think the same thing, so you're confused most of the time. But more important, in your caring about how you're matching up with them, in your measurement of your harmony with another person, you are neglecting your harmony with your own inner being. And your own inner being harmony matters so much because that's the stream of your life force. It's flowing to you all of the time. But when you get in discord from your inner being, you pinch off your own life force. And the first evidence of the pinching off of that life force, you can't really pinch it off. Even when you croak, it's not pinched off. You can't get discordant enough to really pinch it off. But you can get discordant enough to make it really uncomfortable while you're pinching it off. And so that's as bad as it's going to get. Well, that's not really true. Negative emotion. If you've got something going on and it doesn't feel good and you don't do something about relieving the tension, don't worry. It will get bigger. The tension will get bigger. It will get bigger. And the manifestations become more and more abundant and blatant about what your primary alignment or discord is with your inner being. So look at it this way. You're sorting and sifting and defining and deciding and launching rockets of desire. And the universal forces, the law of attraction, your inner being is carrying forth with your creation. So your creations are gathering together in this cooperative gathering. We call it the Vortex. It's a vibrational reality where the beginnings of things are happening. And as those creations become cooperative components with others, you have what you want to call a future experience that we want to call a present tense experience. But you don't want to call it present tense because you're not sensitive to the energy. But we want to call it present tense because we are right smack dab in the middle of everything that you have become. And once you've become it, we never let go of it. We are like a dog on a bone. We never let go of the next request for abundance that you've offered. We never let go of any piece of clarity that you're asking for. Once you ask for it, it is given. Someone should write a book. Once you ask, it is given, but you want to quibble about that. Okay, it's given, but where the hell is it? I can't see it. And we say, that's because it's gestating and it's in the process of becoming, and how long that gestation period takes, how long it takes for these vibrations to turn to thoughts and these thoughts to turn to things so that you can witness the brilliance of your creation. That has to do with your alignment with it. So if you're aligning with problems, they're showing up. If you're aligning with things you want, they're showing up because you get what you think about whether you want it or not. We just want you to know that the things you want are tended by your inner being. And the well-being of your life is huge. It's enormous in comparison with the not well-being. You have such a vibrational advantage because of the momentum of who you are as a creator coming into this body. And because of your inner being who collects only the things that you're asking for. So when you take the time to quiet your mind and allow your vibration to rise, you put yourself in the most probable situation where you're going to be tuned in to that broader perspective who knows what the path of least resistance is for you. This is the important thing to know. Your inner being knows where you stand in every moment in relationship to everything you want. And your inner being knows what the best path is given what you believe and where you are to get you there. And so if you've taken the time to get receptive and you've practiced allowing those thoughts to flow so you know what they feel like when they flow, then the path of least resistance is opening to you all the time. This general plan of things working out for you. And we cannot emphasize enough the details of the plan that you've really put into your vortex. And so those are good words. You could say, put myself in a position to receive impulses so that the plan that I have already set into motion can work out in the best possible way. That's one way of looking at it. Once you've mastered meditation and you know what the receptive mode is and you're mostly there, then you've taken care of most of the business. But otherwise, let's say you got up, you didn't meditate, you've been meditating, so you mostly feel pretty good, but something happened that's been stuck in your vibrational craw. Momentum always continues to come. Whatever you've got active in your vibration is going to keep coming your way. And so something arrived at your doorstep to which you had a negative knee-jerk reaction. When that happens, so this is the second thing that we would do. If you're in that position and that happens, we would openly, maybe even out loud if you're alone, say to ourselves, what is my path of least resistance from where I now stand? Meaning, how can I feel better right now? It isn't a difficult thing to conceptually understand how your world is working, how this universe works, and how your life is working. It's not very hard to understand once you get a handle on the fact that you are a vibrational being, and that when you think a thought, when you observe something, when you remember something, you are offering a vibrational oozing, and that the universe is responding to it, and what comes back to you matches it. And so there are two ways of knowing what that radiation is. Oozing, radiating, dribbling, utterance. Doesn't matter what you call it. You are offering it all the time. So as you're offering it and the universe is responding to it, there are two ways for you to understand what's going on. One we call pre-manifestational. That's where you are aware of your mood, and so you know if you are radiating something that you're going to like when it gets here. And the other is to wait till it gets here. And we call one post-manifestational and we call one pre-manifestational. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would want to get a handle on what we're offering vibrationally, which simply means you just have to understand your own mood. You just have to understand how you feel. And how you feel is because of this. Now, we're just going to give this to you. It's a big piece. And it's an important piece, and we're going to give it to you briefly because we know you mostly know this. But you are more than these bodies. You were non-physical energy before you came into these bodies. And as the part of you that you think is you came into this body, the part of you that most of you don't know is you stayed non-physically focused and is still aware of each and everything that you're focused upon. We call that non-physical part of you your inner being. And you, whether you know it or not, have an ongoing, moment-by-moment relationship with that inner being. You are an extension of it. You are co-creative partners with that inner being. You're out here on the leading edge exploring contrasts that your inner being doesn't explore. You are a pioneer for the purpose of motion forward, and your inner being is aware of you and is the stable part of that which is you. So when you in your body explore some contrast and realize that you don't want that and therefore radiate a vibration, ooze a vibration, utter a vibration, blast a vibration, dribble a vibration, it depends on how important it is to you, of what you do want, your inner being receives that request, that determination, and factors it into all that you are. Another way of saying that is you just became more because of the contrast you lived. Another way of saying it is we all just became more because of the contrast that you lived. The universe just expanded. Now, you may not think it is very important because you're just having an argument with the person you live with. You might not think it's very important because you're throwing things at the television and shouting things into the atmosphere. You don't think it's that important because it just feels like little old you having a little old moment and some little old contrast. But every bit of it matters a lot. Every bit of it is radiated and is received, and the universe expands. And most important to you, your inner being became more because of what you sifted through and decided about. But now You have a new relationship with your inner being who just became more. You asked for more money, and your inner being is now more prosperous. The vibrational essence of that which you are has just expanded. And so now your relationship with your prosperity has changed because you just once again asked for more money. The question is, what are you doing with your day-to-day thoughts? Are you complaining and not having enough? Your inner being isn't. Are you focused upon not enough money? Your inner being isn't. The relationship that you have with your expanding inner being has to do with how much like your inner being you are in any moment in time. Are you optimistic? Your inner being is. Are you pessimistic? Your inner being isn't. Are you loving? Your inner being is. Are you hateful? Your inner being isn't. In other words, you have a responsibility to yourself, and it's really the only responsibility you have, of being aware of this relationship and tending to it. And no one's watching on. No one's looking on in an attitude of you might be getting it wrong and therefore there's going to be trouble for you later. That is not how it works. The trouble is now, and it's indicated by the negative emotion that you feel. When you feel negative emotion, it means you're not up to speed with what you have just become. And because your inner being is up to speed with what you've just become, you must be moving in the direction of that, or you're going to feel the tension of pulling in opposition to what you have become. Does that make sense? Oh, once you get that, then everything makes sense to you. Are you enjoying wanting? Over the years, people have quibbled with us about that word because we really mean desire. But wanting, if you break it down in terms of what much of the world thinks about it, wanting means something still coming. In other words, you want for it because it hasn't come. And we've never been advocates of looking at it in that way, because wanting and desire can be seen as the same thing. But we want you to sort out for yourself what you mean when you want. Because if it's a pure desire, then it's evolving. You're taking pleasure in its evolution. You're living life the way you intended. In other words, you have something that you're focused upon, and by your focus upon it, it is becoming more and more and more and more and more. But if you are yearning for it, if you want it, but if your awareness of its absence or its slowness is stronger than your awareness of its becoming, then you're not in the most powerful place for receiving it, nor are you in the most pleasurable place to receive it. Yearning is uncomfortable. In fact, sometimes you desire things and you've been desiring them for a while and you have not seen the evidence of their becoming. And so when you think about whatever it is that you desire, you approach it from this is hard, this takes too long, I don't know what's wrong, what am I doing wrong? And that's that yearning, sort of wanting vibrational attitude that today it is our expectation that we will soothe within you, because you are a vibrational being, beautiful in your bodies, but vibrational mostly, vibrational completely. You are vibrational beings, and the law of attraction, the manager of all things in this universe, is responding to whatever your vibrational utterance is. And as we visit with so many of our physical friends, you are not usually that aware of what your vibrational utterance is. You don't realize what you're doing because you're so accustomed to observing and responding to what you're observing that you are sort of, we like you really a lot. In fact, we adore you, but you are sloppy vibrational utterers. It's what we call creating by default. It's what we call knee-jerking around. You're responding to the way life is coming to you rather than controlling the way life is coming to you. You're not setting the tone, you're responding to the result of the tone. You see what we're getting at?